Hi and welcome to another edition of OnsideSA. Well, we've got down to 11 now. We had 40, I believe. There's 11 left and last one standing. And Budge, they're falling by the wayside.
Paul, Man United, all the guys that were on them. Geez, what a disgraceful performance, Paul.
Them and Arsenal seem to have stuttered and cost people.
Well, I thought Arsenal were certainties as well, but I just can't believe they got beat at home against a team that hadn't scored in 6 games. What can you do?
People who went through: Chelsea, Tottenham, Leeds, Leicester and Brentford. The guys to go by the wayside, unfortunately. Man United 16 went, a third, more than a third. Arsenal 7, Burnley 3, Wolves 2, and Man City 1.
Twils Horsman, yeah.
Twils Horsman. He waited for his Man City and picked him against Liverpool.
He was
right.
brave,
But let's have a look at who've made it now. The 11 left. How many are women?
3.
That's fantastic. Okay, Carol's still going strong.
Carol Whitehead, flying.
Fantastic. Colours must be so embarrassed. Ashley Berger.
Ashley Berger, yes.
Is that
Pirates
a woman?
girl, yeah.
And
Katerina Harita, her sister went out. Georgia went out, she stayed in.
And then the rest are men. Rakesh.
Ravesh Badassi.
Is that Ravesh? Sorry,
Yeah.
Alan Costa.
Alan Costa.
Gary Citron without the E.
Gary, yeah.
He hangs in, that guy.
Yeah.
Dave Harker.
Yeah.
Barry Humphries. Calvin Cass, international.
Yeah, Calvin's in Bournemouth. Tony sent me a clip. Said, no. Other son's in Scotland. Calvin's in Bournemouth.
Okay, Alan Duplessis, is he one of the clan?
Michael Dupe's brother. It's away from George Campbell.
And got to be Toad favourite, boy from the south.
Oh, he's hanging in, Paul. He had
Johnny Bravo, he's hanging in. He's into the last league. He was beaten in the finals last time. So at this stage, internationally, 1.
Yep.
Calvin Cass, eh?
Calvin Cass. 3 ladies. Paul, 3 out of 11.
That's very good. They hold you there. They want that many entries, so it's picking up all the time. Right, I believe we've got Stevie B on the line. Steve, you there?
I'm here. Good morning.
Morning, Steve. How are things?
Not too bad, thank you. Except, obviously, I'm just listening to the last one standing, and I was one of the 20-something that went out, so wasn't my time.
I want to speak to you about Fulham. What happened? Did you watch the game?
Yeah, I was there. It was just one of those days. Coventry played very well. I mean, we had something like 28 shots on goal and only scored once. I mean, we missed a hatful of chances, but it's still in our own hands, and it just means that we have to wait maybe another week before we can go up. But I fully expect that hopefully by Tuesday night, when we play our second game over Easter, we will be promoted.
Yeah, no
so
doubt about that.
do
Steve, Champions League, some crackers. Chelsea a little bit unlucky to go out.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, they played really well. I mean, you just think, why didn't they play like that at the Bridge? But you swap the team around a bit, and they really, I mean, at 3-0, you thought this is it. But Real dug deep, got a couple of goals, and even right at the end, in extra time, Chelsea had chances to level it up, but it wasn't to be for them. They went down fighting, and I think that Tuchel should be proud of the way that they performed.
Yeah, I wish if he had it again the first leg, he would chop the midfield. Couldn't believe that he played Jorginho. I watched the Bayern Munich Villarreal game, Steve. Unfortunately, I took away the Chelsea game, but Bayern Munich are nowhere. They were lucky. If they'd have got Liverpool in the semis, they'd have got a hiding in both games. The better team went through.
The Spurs.
Yeah, well, no, as I say, Unai Emery is, he really is a master at getting teams to do well in Europe. We did fantastic with Seville, so won't be an easy game. But I'm sure that Liverpool will fancy their chances over 2 legs.
Yeah, got to fancy them too. Atletico Madrid, Man City ended up a nasty game, but I was disappointed in Man City. I thought they had one shot the whole game. I know.
I mean, it was surprising. I mean, they had to dig deep and defend well. Obviously, I think their rhythm got disrupted with injuries to De Bruyne and then Walker. And it was physically intimidating. I mean, they obviously decided they were going to. They obviously targeted Phil Foden, who came in from.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, Atletico showed in patches that they're a good footballing side, but then they to their sort of dark arts, and you just think if they'd have just concentrated on the football at the end, they could have rescued that tie. But I think over the 2 leagues, City definitely deserved it, especially from their first leg performance. Yeah. And it's whether or not as I say, Guardiola was a bit concerned. Obviously, he's got a number of injuries, and I think that last night would have taken a lot out of them before the weekend.
Yeah, Liverpool 3-3. I see he made a lot of changes, 3-1 up, and took the foot off the pedal.
It was, it could have backfired, especially at 3-3.
Yeah.
I watched the highlights, and Benfica still had chances. I mean, he brought a few of his big names on, but I mean, he really did take I say a gamble. He obviously thought, look, we're 3-1 up. We've got a strong squad. As long as we get through, that's all we need to do. When you're resting players of the quality of Salah, Mane, Van Dijk, Robertson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, those are the spine of his team to a pretty extent. So, they will all be available at the weekend for the cup game. So, it was a calculated gamble, and they went through.
Yeah. Steve, 2 games on tonight. Lyon versus West Ham. That should be a good game.
Lyon Leicester is the West Ham.
Yeah, it will be. It will be a tough game.
Yeah.
Obviously West Ham are without Cresswell. Zuma went off injured. We don't know if he's going to be fit, so they might have to make another change. I think it will be a tough game.
Yeah.
West Ham are capable of going through, but Lyon showed they're a pretty decent side. Not having a great season in La Ligue, but I think that it's going to be a game. I don't think there'll be more than 1 goal in it.
Yeah, the other English team, PSV Eindhoven host Leicester. 0-0 from the first game. I watched a bit of it. Yeah, tough game.
Yeah, tough game. And PSV are second in the
Dutch league.
In the Dutch league, and doing very well. So Leicester are going to have to be play at their best, I think. And he's obviously got to pick his strongest available team.
Yeah.
So I think again, I don't think there'll be more than 1 goal in it.
Yeah. Well,
and it could go either way.
I backed PSV to win that competition at 10-1, so you know where I am. But I think they've all got Marseille to beat. Steve, Premiership this weekend. We'll leave Spurs and Man United out. Southampton, Arsenal. Do you see Arsenal rebounding?
Well, I think they have to. I mean, it's otherwise, their challenge for a top 4 place will fall away. Chelsea completely wiped the floor with Southampton.
Yeah.
It makes you but Hasenhüttl has done. His team has got beaten 9-0 one week, and then they come back strong the next.
Yeah.
I'm sure that he wasn't at all happy with the way they played, and Chelsea could have had 8 or 9 easily last weekend. I think Arteta's got to get a response from his team. They have put up 2 really substandard performances, and I think this is a game they have to win. Otherwise, they're going to fall behind top.
Yeah, 3 losses out of the last 4. You just never know. But Southampton, as you say, Jekyll and Hyde team. Now, I fancy Brentford to beat Watford. How do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, look, Watford 9 home defeats in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, this is sort of do or die for them. I think if they don't win this, they're in grave trouble. Brentford have found some form, 4 wins in 5.
Yeah.
And the pressure's off them now. So I think it'll be tight. I think we've got to throw everything at this game, because the game when they play at Brentford, Watford were unlucky.
Yeah.
Probably the better side for most of the game. But I think Brentford will make themselves hard to beat, and I think anything other than a win for Watford, and I think it's almost too late for them.
Yeah, a game I'm looking forward
I'll
to.
ask Steve something. Steve, if your brother's a Watford supporter, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is, yeah. He suffered like all of them watching some of those 9 home defeats.
You've been down this road with Fulham. Is it better when you struggle?
Absolutely.
Is it better? The question for you, Steve, is it better when you're struggling like that? Every week you go there and you, as a supporter, hoping for a draw or something. Is it better to go down and be a big fish again and go and watch winning games and hope to get back up?
Look, I mean, there is an argument, and a lot of people say they prefer the Championship and they're winning game, but ultimately, the Holy Grail is getting in the Premier League. You want to play against the biggest teams, even though you probably lose. But you want to be playing the Chelseas and Arsenal and Cities and United.
Spurs.
That's what. Why you and Spurs. That's why you do what you do. So when all things being equal, we'll go up for the 3rd time in 5 years. But the secret is finding the way to stay up, and that's both Watford, Norwich, and Fulham in recent years have failed to do.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Thanks.
It's.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'd rather be going to the decent stadiums.
Yeah, you got to go. You want to watch the best.
Going to Luton and those type of clubs. Steve, FA Cup. Sorry, the last game, West Ham, Burnley. Big game for Burnley.
It is, very much so. I mean, they really... I fancied them to get a result at Norwich, but, after beating Everton, but that was a poor result and a poor performance. They have to bounce back. West Ham are obviously playing a big game tonight. Will play all their stars. You know, they didn't play well at Brentford. West Ham and Burnley have got an opportunity to get something, and they have to, because I think if Burnley failed to, I think again, like Watford and Norwich, you know, that gap is just starting to widen a little bit, and it will be too much for them. So I think they've got to target this. You know, a few weeks ago it wouldn't have been a game you'd have expected Burnley to go and win, but I think they've got to target this against the West Ham side that have got a very tough game in France tonight.
Yeah, I agree. Steve, FA Cup, I know you were on Liverpool last week as your outsider. Are you going for them again to beat Man City?
I think so. I think that I think City have got one or two injuries. They had a very tough physical game last night. Obviously, Klopp rested a lot of his big names. You know, Van Dijk and people are going to be fresh. I think, you know, on neutral ground, I think Liverpool will just be a little bit too strong.
Yeah, Man City do have a big squad, but no, I agree. And last but not least, after Tuesday night's performance, do you see Chelsea beating Crystal Palace?
Yeah, I do. Palace make a game of it. Obviously, Conor Gallagher can't play against his parent team. I think they'll miss him. I think if Chelsea, you know, they will the other night, but if they play like they did there, they play like they did at Southampton, I think it'd be too strong. So I fancy a Chelsea-Liverpool final.
Yeah, okie dokie. Steve, on to the championship games on Friday and Monday. Obviously, Easter Friday, Easter Monday. Yeah. We kick off Luton Town against Notts Forest. How do you see that going?
Yeah, well, huge game. Forest are the most informed team in the league.
Yeah.
5 wins in a row. You know, they are the team. If concerned about team catching us if we don't win another game, Forest are the team. Luton have done exceptionally well. They came unstuck. They lost at Huddersfield on Monday night. I think that, you know, I think if Luton can hold Forest, it'll be a good result for Luton and a good result for us, in all honesty. I think Luton are going to be target to get a point out of that, because, you know, the teams behind them are, you know, it's all very competitive. There's probably about 6-7 teams for those 4 places. So it's, you know, they can't afford to lose. And at home, they're quite strongly. So I fancy it's either a Forest win or a draw.
Okie dokie. The big game is Bournemouth against Middlesbrough.
Well, Middlesbrough have really, I mean, obviously Fulham went up there and won last week, but big surprise, they lost at home to Hull. Chris Wilder was very upset with their performance. All of a sudden, they dropped out of that top 6, and they need to get something. I fancy them to get a point at Bournemouth. You know, Bournemouth, you just never know what you're going to get with them, and I think Borough are a hard team to beat. So I think it's either going to be a home win or Borough can hold them.
Okie dokie. Stoke City versus Bristol City?
Yeah, I think Stoke will probably be too strong. They had a very good win at West Brom last week. Bristol City, you know, they're not going anywhere. Stoke, it's too late for them as well, but I just think that Bristol, they don't travel well. I think that Stoke will probably be a little bit too strong.
Okay. Huddersfield versus Queen's Park Rangers?
Yeah, I think Huddersfield, you know, after a little wobble of a couple of defeats, they've come back again with a couple of wins. I think they'll win this. QPR have just fallen away. 5 defeats in their last 7. You know, they dropped out of the playoff places, and I think Huddersfield will be too strong. Okay,
can my Preston boys win another home game against Millwall?
Yeah, well, this is a big game. I mean, Millwall have just got themselves back up into contention. They're only a few points adrift of a playoff place, but Preston at home is strong, and you know, I think they could. You know, it could be a bit of an upset. Well, not an upset in as much as obviously Preston are strong at home, but I think it would be an upset for Millwall if they get nothing there. So I fancy a home win there. Maybe Millwall could hold them for a draw, but otherwise I think Preston will be too strong. And
last but not least, Derby County versus your Fulham boys.
Yeah, well, I think this is the game that we have to target to go and win. I know that Derby are fighting for their lives, but you know, when you look at the difference in quality of the players we've got available, if Forest fail to win on Friday lunchtime when we play in the evening, a win for us effectively promotes us, because we'd be level on points or above. So, you know, I think that you know, I think psychologically, you know, if we know that a win for us puts us up, you know, I think we'll do it. At the very worst, I think Derby could maybe hold us to a draw, but I think Derby have gone now. I think they're just running out of games.
Yeah, I think Derby got to go for it, which will leave them exposed at the back. Steve, pressure time as always. I need your best bet and value bet, please. Yeah, I'm going to go for Huddersfield as my best bet. I think they'll be too strong for QPR.
QPR have shown no form in recent weeks. They've lost 5 in a row. I fancy Huddersfield. And for my value bet, I'm going to go for Liverpool. I just think, in a 2-horse race, I think I can't see why City should be clear favourites, especially on neutral ground and with the toughness of the game they had last night and 1 or 2 injuries. Liverpool, Klopp's, admitted he's freshened he's got a fresh side really providing they got no injuries. He's got a fresh side pretty much available for the game this weekend.
Yeah, just remember he's got Man United on Tuesday, so I think he'll have one eye on that. But I agree, try and win this. Why not? You're on a roll. Yeah. Try and win the lot. Steve, thanks very much.
Steve, thanks, pal.
Pleasure.
And good luck over the weekend.
Thank you. Talk to you next
week.
All
the best with your last one standing. It went with mine, Steve. It went with mine. Yeah. Cheers, pal.
Yep.
All right, that was Stevie. Good to hear him. He knows his stuff. Sure, he's a master. I just want to quickly talk about the standings, if you don't mind.
Fine.
But at the top there, obviously, it's tough. Chelsea got 62. They're 5 clear of Tottenham with a game in hand. They should, on those 7-8 games, they should hold them off. But Tottenham got more problems holding off. They're 6 clear of West Ham and a game in hand. So
that's Tottenham and Arsenal. Paul, that's
Tottenham and Arsenal, eh? And now at the bottom, it's very interesting because Norwich, 21 points, Watford 22, Burnley 24. Okay, let's look at the bottom 3. 31 games, and Burnley on 30. So Burnley could go possibly to 27.
Yeah, they'll go point behind Everton if they win this weekend.
Point behind Everton, but Everton will have a game in hand on them. And Leeds are in the mire, but they're 5 points clear of Everton.
Paul, I just think it's between Everton and Burnley. But can Burnley get the points? That's the problem.
They've got to get them. The other one got them in the bank, and a good win against United.
Yep.
Okay, but let's go to these Premier League fixtures. Tell me your opinions.
Paul, I think Spurs is on a roll. Last 3, when the betting comes up, won the last 3, 13 goals you've scored. Boys are playing great.
But every team we play against, we put goals past. Yeah. Even when we lost at United, we scored 2.
Scored 2.
We put 3 away at Man City. Yeah. You know what's interesting? So, some big pundit said the most formidable attack now in the Premier League.
Well, Kulusevski's changed the team, hasn't he?
Do you know he's 21?
Yeah, he's a youngster, yeah.
He's a kid.
Yeah.
They've got some good boys in, so let's hope they keep going.
There's no mud, Paul. Paul, it was Spurs to score over 1.5 goals with 7 of 10.
Good bit.
Yeah, that's my suggestion. They're going to score. You never know with Brighton. But
Brighton
Spurs
can play on their day.
Paul, I watched Tottenham a couple of weeks ago go to Brighton and murder them. I think you won 2 or 3-0.
Yeah.
So 5 to 10, Paul, I think should be in every bet.
Okay, Man United, Norwich. Now, every week you and I sit here and say, well, United have to win.
Paul, if they don't win this game, the fans could come over the barriers. Paul, I don't like last week. I didn't like what I saw from them, and I just.
But it's the latest. Is the Ajax manager going to?
Well, that's what it looks like.
It looks that way. Okay.
But they can't beat Norwich.
They're 1-4.
Paul, they won't be in any of my. They should be in every bet. But how do you trust them?
Jeez, can you trust them? 1-4 is shorter.
Yeah.
Southampton are a bit of a jinx side.
Yeah.
Arsenal have to win to stay in the hunt, but Southampton can have that knee-jerk reaction after a thumping at Chelsea.
Yeah. Paul, they've lost, I think, the last 4 Southampton, but Arsenal lost 3 of their 4 as well.
Yeah.
It's people talk
Tough
about
league.
young teams, and then you get to the pressure situations where you've got to win, and they failed Arsenal. Paul, I think goals are a certainty in this game. 9 to 10 is a great price, Arsenal, but I'd rather take 8 to 10 over 2.5 goals, Paul. That's my suggestion. But I don't see Arsenal losing. But Southampton are one of those teams. Have a go.
You've been right on Brentford every week. Are you sticking with them?
I'm on them again, Paul. My value bet of the weekend. I think Brentford. Paul, I like what I see, and they've got the best midfield player in the league. I think Eriksen's as good as any midfield player, bar Kevin De Bruyne, in the league.
He just controls games. His passes. Kevin Rice has got beautiful short passes to get players. This guy can suddenly sling him in there.
He's got more vision than most players
Both
have.
feet.
Paul, he's world class in my opinion. Brentford 16 to 10. I know it's do or die for Watford, but Brentford are on a roll.
Yeah.
And 16
Those two
to
up front
10.
are good.
Good players.
Good players. They're a good team.
That's my value bet, Paul. 16 to 10 Brentford.
Now Newcastle are trying to turn it around again. Leicester City are coming right.
Paul, I watched them against. I didn't fancy them against Palace. I thought Palace, especially after destroying Arsenal. But Leicester played great, Paul. They look good at Dewsbury Hall. They look a nice young
They've got
team.
a good young team, yeah.
Paul, big game for them tonight.
Yeah,
and Paul, there's goals in this. Newcastle are great to watch at St James's Park.
Yeah.
They're unbeaten there. I think it's 7 games.
How did they go last week?
No, they they actually won. They beat Wolves 1-0.
That's right, yeah.
So,
And then-
Paul, I think there's goals in that. We went both teams to score and over 2.5 goals, 14-10. I thought it's a great prize. Paul.
West Ham are fighting for a position up
Yeah.
there, if I can say that. But Burnley are dying. They have to do something.
Paul, I watched on my laptop. I don't know how I got it. It wasn't on. Max Cornet missed a sitter from 2 yards out at 1-0 down.
Pierre Cornet offer.
Yeah, Pierre Cornet. Paul, it's do or die for Burnley. So there has
Yeah.
to be goals. They can't sit back and play
No,
for a
they
point.
can't.
Point doesn't help them. But you know, West Ham were disappointing last week, but he played the same starting 11.
Yeah.
Now they'll play. Is he going to change for Sunday? Paul, so I wouldn't take 7-10 West Ham.
No.
But of the team, I don't see them losing. But goals for me in that game.
Now the FA Cup semi-final. Steve is stuck with Liverpool.
Yeah.
I thought Man City were the better side the other
By
day.
far. But Paul, De Bruyne came off last night, and Kyle Walker came off, so I doubt they'll play.
They got
But they've got
players.
so many players, Paul.
players.
It's just at the back. Now, my concern for Liverpool is, are they going to play Alisson or are they going to play the youngster Keller, who played in the League Cup final? Remember the one on penalties?
Yes.
If they play him, you just never know. He played great in the final. I think Klopp will more than likely do it, because I think he's got one eye on winning the league with Man United. Man United on Tuesday. They've got to get a result there. I know United are struggling, but United are all looking for that. Paul, it is a big price, 21-10, but so is a draw at 5-2.
Can you take 5-1 Crystal Palace?
No, I think Chelsea, Paul, they were impressive against Real Madrid. That hiding that they got woke them up. Brentford physically abused them, and he got it all wrong. You've got to play Kovacic. For me, him and Kante are the best midfield tandem in the league.
Yeah.
And he cocked it up, but I fancy Chelsea, Paul, 5-10.
Okay, let's look at the Championship. Just want to touch on the standings, but you always like to look at the standings. Now, we're taking
The top two away, yeah.
You've got Bournemouth still here.
Yeah.
They 2 games in hand over Huddersfield, but not Forest have
Not
become
Forest are the trick team, Paul.
trick team. 6 points behind Huddersfield. They're 5th Luton Town, 41 games though, and 6th Sheffield United, 41 games. Middlesbrough can go past them if they win this game this weekend.
Paul, it's tight. You know, you've got to
Sure,
get
the
results.
top 9 have got
and
a
they play.
chance.
Well,
Wow.
my Preston boys, if we like 2, if we go above Millwall if we'd won, we should be right there, but we can't win at home. We drew against bad teams.
Yeah.
And draws are no
Not
good in
enough.
that league, Paul. Not
No.
good enough.
Right, but let's look at the fixtures.
Paul,
How
I
do you
like
read
Forest.
this?
You know, I've been on Forest bandwagon all along. I think
Swerve's
16-10 Swerve team's a fair price. Luton cost us big time, that penalty miss last week. But
Yes.
Luton have only lost 1 game at home in the last 10. That was against QPR on a Sunday game. Tough game, Paul. I don't see Forest getting beat.
Okay.
You know, these are crucial games, but it'll be tight for me. But Forest are the 2
He
teams.
played on Friday.
Yeah, Friday, yeah.
Good
Play
Friday.
Friday, Monday, yeah.
So in the British
Premiership, nothing.
Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
Okay, so this Bournemouth Middlesbrough is 4
Paul,
o'clock.
another tight game.
This
Paul.
is a hard game.
Big game.
Middlesbrough
'Cause
fighting.
Bournemouth, you know, depending if
They
Notts
win,
Forest,
they're gonna close
if
to
Notts
six.
Forest don't win, they go say it's a draw, then Bournemouth are 5 points ahead of Forest with a game in hand.
Yeah.
So they can basically cement it. But if Forest win, they've got to have a go. Cahill's done a great job at Bournemouth. Paul, I just think both teams have scored
who's at
9-10.
Bournemouth?
Gary Cahill, the Chelsea centre half. He's the main man at the back there. So he's tightened them
But,
up. This is a big game.
The ex-Spurs midfielder and Fulham man, is he in coach?
Scott Parker's still there.
Yeah,
He's done a
he's
good job, Paul. I
Yeah.
know Stevie B and them don't like him at Fulham. It didn't end up well.
Yeah.
But he's done a good job, Paul. I think a draw's written all over that game.
Okay,
And-
Birmingham, Coventry.
Paul, Birmingham, I've been on them a couple of times. They've scored 1 goal in the last 4 home games. Lee Boyer's there. They play better away from home.
Yeah.
Coventry had a great win the other day. Of the 2 teams, I like Coventry. But 24-10, the draw's a player for me there, Paul.
Hull City, Cardiff.
Paul, Hull City buried me in the last one standing competition I entered. They went to Middlesbrough and won. But their last 6 home games, they've lost.
Yeah.
So you never know. Cardiff, Paul, I like Cardiff for the 2 teams. But
Are
Cardiff
they,
in
the,
draw-
best Welsh team?
No, Swansea are
Swansea
a
a
better
better
team.
Welsh
Yeah.
team, eh?
Swansea beat them 4-0 the other day at
Yeah.
Cardiff. But a tight game, Paul, but I don't see Cardiff losing.
Okay, the Posh.
Paul, last chance saloon for them. You know, we
In
have a
what
look
way?
at the standings. Paul, they're slowly but surely Reading are moving away from them. But they've only lost 1 of the last 5. Blackburn, Paul, just can't win a game. They were cruising at one stage.
Cruising.
But both teams to score, even money, Paul, that's my play. I don't see Blackburn losing, Paul, but that could go either way because it's desperation at the bottom.
Yeah. Preston, Millwall.
Well, I fancy my boys. We won a roll. We won the last 3. We should have won the last 4. We murdered Forest at home. 15-10, Paul. They're in our bets. Millwall hard to beat, but coming to Deepdale, I think my boys will roll them again, Paul.
Okay. Sheffield United, Reading.
Paul, they
Reading
were
got
on-
out of trouble, eh?
Yeah, Paul
Is
Ince's
that
done a good
Ince?
job there. His son's playing Thomas, but he's done a good
Yes,
job,
yes,
Paul Ince.
yeah.
Paul. They've won a few. I don't see Sheffield United. I think it's 7 wins, 2 draws out of their last 9.
And they're 6-10.
They're 6-10. I think they're certainties, Paul, and so do I think Stoke. They're my best bet. Bristol City, they've won 1 game in the last, I think, 13 away from home. They've come right, Stoke. I'm all over Stoke, Paul, 8-10.
Okay, and then the last few here.
The
Budge.
last page, Swansea as well. I watched them against Derby. It was on ESPN. I saw a little bit of it. They played great. They're doing well. Barnsley got to go for it, Paul, which I think will play into Swansea City's hands. Swansea all day for me.
Albion?
West Brom, I thought they'd do well against Stoke, but Stoke outplayed them. Paul, this is a funny game for me because I watched Blackpool go to Fulham.
Yeah.
And they deserve it. They've got a draw. They should have won.
Yeah.
So they're a capable team. I think 27-10, the draw's a player there, Paul. Huddersfield QPR, that's Twills' London team. They've lost 7 or 8. They've lost 6 or 7 away from home. I agree with Steve. It should be Huddersfield 11-10. And then Fulham. Paul, we're all funking for Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
You know, at home, they've only lost 1 out of 10.
But Steve's go up.
But Fulham's better team, Paul. If they need to win the league, I think there's goals in that game, but you've got to be with Fulham.
Let's go local. Local.
Oh,
Okay,
Paul,
here we go. PSL Tuesday results. Sundown 6, Arrows. I watched it. They played in bad weather.
Terrible weather, Paul.
Played in terrible weather. Sundowns are the
Top team, Paul.
Yeah. Baraka Pirates, no score.
0-0, yeah. There was a serious injury, one of the Pirates guys. I watched a bit of it also, Paul. The weather was atrocious.
And then Marisburg and Swallows 1 each.
1-0, yeah.
Are Swallows
were
hanging in?
Hanging in. Dylan, they're slowly escaping, Paul. They won
they?
them up till late and Marisburg grabbed them.
Right, let's look at the PSL standings at the bottom. 1 team goes.
Yeah. And
And
the second's
second
in the
loss,
playoff.
Yeah. Okay, so bottom of the log after 25 games is on 18 points is Baraka.
Yeah.
On 24 points, 24 matches, 19 points, Galaxy.
Yes, Galaxy.
24, 19 Swallows. Then 3 points up, also on 24 games, Chipper United. And 23 points, Marisburg might just be getting out of it.
Yeah, Marisburg will get out of it, Paul. Yeah.
Swallows are fighting hard.
Paul, they're just not scoring many goals, but, you know, Dylan's...
6 games left.
Dylan
the
trying
bulk
his...
of them.
Yep.
Okay, let's look at these fixtures this weekend,
Paul,
Budge.
big game, local derby, Amazulu. They've only played 4 league games this year because they were in the CAF Championship. Benny's gone. The first game, they won 1-0. Just never know. But I think a draw's a player, Paul, in this game.
Yeah.
You know, we went both teams to score 14-10. I thought it was a big price, Paul.
Yeah,
You know, both teams are going to have a go.
that's right.
Top 8 places and relegation status. Got to avoid that for Maritzburg. 1-0 written all over it.
Okay.
Sekakuna, Paul, I like them against TS Galaxy. You know, but they've only won 1 of the last 10, so it's hard to really trust them.
Yeah.
But I watched them against it was against, was it Chipper? They were all over them first half and ended up tossing it. But Sekakuna for me, Paul, I wouldn't take 11-10 though, but
Yeah.
I don't see them in the exotics losing.
Cape Town?
I like them, Paul. Royal AM are going great, but they were lucky last week. They played in the Cup. They were 2-0 down against Tuckies from Pretoria. They came back and won 3-2. Tinkler for me, Paul's a superb coach. 14-10.
Royal Aim's doing very
Yeah,
well.
he's doing great, Paul. They're unbeaten this year. But they've struggled against the lesser teams. Now, Cape Town City's a good
Royal
team,
Aim
Paul.
are local.
Local team in Chatsworth. That's old Bloemfontein Celtic.
Yeah.
They've come
Yeah.
here. John
Okay.
Maduka, very good coach. But I'm all over Cape Town City, Paul. 14-10. I think they'll win.
Okay, Kaiser Chiefs.
Well, Supersport fired their coach, Kotano Tambo, during the week. So I think Benny will end up there. I like Chiefs, Paul, but the last time I watched them, they drew 0-0. I think it was with TS Galaxy at home. There just doesn't seem any harmony there. 13-10 is a good price, Paul, and I think they can win. It's just you just never know with them. That's the only problem, Paul. But they're a better team.
Tough game for Swallows.
It should be, Paul, but the betting's wrong there. That Maruma Gallants at home, they're a good team. But, you know, Swallows don't get beat too often, and they'll sit tight.
Yeah.
You know, bottom of the league, Paul. I don't see Maruma Gallants losing, but the draw is obviously a player there.
And Chipper Stellenbosch.
No, I like Stellenbosch, Paul. They've only lost 1 this season. Steve's done a great job there. Chipper can't win at home. They draw, so I don't see Stellenbosch losing, Paul. So Stellenbosch in a draw for me there.
Yeah, okay, Budge, that's interesting. Let's look at your choices
Yeah, on
now.
to the Gold Circle Soccer 6. Paul, I've banked Tottenham to beat Brighton. I've gone the field in the Borussia Dortmund-Wolfsburg game. I have to go for Man United to beat Norwich. I've thrown the draw in with Arsenal at Southampton. I don't see Brentford losing at Watford. And I've gone the field in the semi-final fixture between Man City and Liverpool, 2-1-6. The Phumelela Soccer 6, I've gone Amazulu win and draw against Maritzburg United. I don't see Sekhukhune United losing against TS Galaxy. I've thrown the draw in with Cape Town City at home against Royal AM. Mamelodi Sundowns playing in the CAF Champions League in Angola. I don't see them losing to Petro de Luanda. One win and draw Sundowns. I'm chancing Kaizer Chiefs to beat Supersport, and I'm going El Ahly of Egypt, win and draw at home against Raja Casablanca, 192.
Raja Casablanca. Right, Budge, next one.
Yeah, our Gold Circle Soccer 10, I'm bankering Tottenham to beat Brighton. I'm going Borussia Dortmund, win and draw at home against Wolfsburg. I'm banking Man United to beat Norwich. I've thrown the draw in with Arsenal at Southampton. I'm banking Brentford to beat Watford. Onto the second page.
All three.
I'm going all three in the Deportivo Alaves Real Vallecano La Liga clash. I've got Man City win and draw against Liverpool. The field in the Borussia Mönchengladbach FC Cologne game, and ended up with two bankers, a banker in Juventus to beat Bologna, and Valencia win and draw against Osasuna, 288.
All right, the 13,
Soccer
Budge.
13, Paul. Yep, always have a dip at this. I'm going Man City win and draw against Liverpool. I'm banking Man United to beat Norwich. Arsenal to beat Southampton, Brentford to beat Watford. I'm going Getafe, win and draw at home against Villarreal. I'm going the field in the Deportivo Alaves Rayo Vallecano match. I'm bankering Valencia to win at home against Osasuna, Lazio to beat Torino, Juventus to beat Bologna, Fiorentina to beat Venezia. The field in the Saint Etienne Stade Brestois game. I'm going Lille to avoid defeat at home against Lens, likewise Borussia Mönchengladbach. Win and draw against FC Cologne, 288.
Right, Budgie's best bets.
Paul, so we can crack it. I'm going Tottenham to beat Brighton, Brentford to beat Watford, and I'm going over 2.5 goals and both teams to score in the Newcastle Leicester City and West Ham Burnley game. It's a great price.
Good
Paul,
odds.
4,200. Our team goals only. All these teams have to score a minimum of 2 goals. I'm going Tottenham against Brighton, Arsenal against Southampton, Brentford against Watford, and Fulham against Derby, 2,600 to 200. Onto the championship.
Preston.
Going my beloved North Enders. I'm going Preston to beat Millwall, Stoke to beat Bristol City, Swansea City to beat Barnsley, and over 2.5 goals in the Derby Fulham match, 2,600 to 200. Our both teams to score sides are Bournemouth Middlesbrough, Hull City Cardiff City, Peterborough Blackburn, and West Brom Blackpool, 2,400 to 200. We've got a PSL bet this week. I'm going Cape Town City to beat Royal AM, and both teams to score in the Amazulu Maritzburg United and Maruma Gallus Swallows games, 2,200 to 200. Collis King 6 or next. I'm going Tottenham to beat Brighton, Chelsea to beat Crystal Palace, Stoke City to beat Bristol City, Swansea to beat Barnsley, Wigan Athletic to beat Cambridge United, and Lazio to beat Torino, 3,000 to 200.
Right, Budge, I've got to reiterate for the fans out there that we are not doing last one standings because of the FA Cup matches.
FA Cup.
And it resumes
next weekend, yeah.
Next weekend. So
everybody knows, Paul, I sent the clip, they all know. So
any,
they can
any fancies to win it? I'm talking about the last one.
Paul, next week I'll make my choice.
Go with the boy from the south. Johnny Bravo, go with him. Until next time, stay on side.